Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the OSBA Final 8 High School Championships. We saw the women's final set for tomorrow, Joe. Niagara Prep versus Crestwood Prep, and now it's time for the men to show their talents out here alongside Joe D'Agostino, Anthony Gaio on hand. And Joe, the first game of the semifinals, the undefeated 20-0 now, Orangeville Prep versus TRC Academy. Joe, any initial thoughts on this game?
Well, I think going into this tournament, Orangeville was the clear-cut, obvious favorite, and like you said, they're perfect. They're 20-0 now, but that performance by TRC Academy yesterday in the final game against FHC, who we thought was going to be the most competitive game of the afternoon, instead, it was the most dominating performance we saw. And if you're TRC, you're coming into this game with a boatload of confidence.
Exactly, and just in case people didn't see it, TRC blew out Father Henry Carr yesterday, 114-78, and of course Orangeville took care of business against Rise Prep. And BK going in strong to start off, and he gets called with an early offensive foul, and Orangeville's bench is already fired up, especially Coach of the Year, Tony McIntyre.
And MBK, he was a huge component on why they were so successful yesterday. 70% shooting from the field, 23 points. And on the other side for him, Dawson John, who had 26, an incredible shooting percentage. Those two guys got to perform in a big way in this game.
And you already see here Coach Jeremy Kaye of TRC implementing the full court press. Doesn't want to take any chances here today. Justice Prentice with the ball now. Over to Matthew Alexander Moncrief. Down low to Filowich, coming off a suspension. Finds Stuka. Coleman for three. Coleman a little too strong that time. And here comes Jefferson Monegro, the floor general for this TRC Wolfpack team. Off-ball screen coming here for John. John has some space. One dribble in. No good that time. Looks like Prentice got a piece of it. DeVario. Mid-range pull-up. No good, and there's Filowich on the offensive board. Kyler stripped away that time. And back comes TRC. Monegro. Back up to Grumbach. Celebingue pulls up from the mid-range. No good that time. A lot of mid-range shots here to start off the game, Joe. Want to get a little bit of a higher percentage shot. Get on the board here. Prentice for three. Justice Prentice opens up the scoring here in the semifinals.
Yeah, it took a minute and a half for either team to get on the board, and I think you were kind of right for TRC. It seems like they're struggling to get maybe the looks they wanted going into this game, but it's early, and we know they're capable of it.
Oh, you're going to call a travel on Celebingue. I think either way it would have been an offensive foul. I think he took the charge right on time outside of the key.
And for TRC, they were one of the few teams who started off extremely well yesterday in that first round tournament. That first quarter was probably their best quarter of the entire game, and they were fantastic the entire way. So the fact that they're struggling a little bit here is a little bit surprising. I thought they'd have a little bit more juice early on.
Oh, what a save by MBK, but goes right back in the hands of MA. Going up strong with it, and he gets it to go. Early 5-point lead here for Orangeville. And an interesting decision here by Jeremy Kaye. Victor Radikash, what a big impact yesterday on the floor off the bench. Already getting set to check back in. John pulls back. Run back, heavily contested. No good that time. And BK, too strong. DeVario to bring it up now. Stuka, strong move. Can't get it to go into the rim. A little dangerous that time. Kyler landed right on Bryant.
And you can already tell what Filowich brings to the table. He wasn't there yesterday due to suspension, and already in this first 2.5 minutes, getting some boards. He had a turnover, but he's just disrupting on the inside in the paint, and that's going to be a problem for TRC.
And Radikash into the game now. Celebingue is going to take a seat. DeVario to inbound. Darius DeVario, part of that 2018 TRC championship team last year. Sorry, 2019 and 2018. Moncrief. Prentice. Strong move, and they're going to call a foul. No shot on the floor. A quick timeout coming here. Jeremy Kaye wants to talk it over. You're watching the OSBA Final 8 High School Championships. Welcome back here. First quarter action, early 5-0 lead here by Orangeville. And Joe, it seems like TRC is not getting anything easy here in the paint.
And I think the problem is defensively, even though it's only 5-0, they haven't really been able to break out in the transition and on the fast break. And I think that's where you have to kill Orangeville, get the rebound, and then immediately push the ball. And as you can see here, it's a little bit of a struggle to get the board, but they got to move quick.
Here's Monegro, and of course TRC implementing that zone defense. Looks like Orangeville staying with that man-to-man. Monegro guarded by DeVario. Shot clock at 10 seconds. Screen. Jefferson can't get it to go. Radakash on the rebound, puts it up. Still can't take the lid off the rim here for TRC. MA with the ball, one dribble, hop step in the paint. Too strong, gets his own board, and draws the foul.
And these second chance opportunities are crushing TRC right now. They're playing well defensively, but if you can continue to give a team like Orangeville multiple chances at getting that bucket, it's going to eventually wear in on you throughout that game.
We talked about it yesterday, Joe. It didn't really affect the game yesterday, but we know MA struggles from the free throw line, and that's one part of his game he would love to improve. And he misses the first that time. And it didn't matter yesterday. My point I'm getting to here, Joe, is if it's a close game, which everybody is expecting it to be now down the stretch, these free throws could be important as he goes 0 for 2 at the line. Stuka getting the offensive board, and he puts it in off glass. John with the ball. Went out for 26 yesterday in the quarterfinal. Radakash. Great defense by Filowich. Back comes Orangeville, pushing the pace. Moncrief behind the back, draws the foul. Oh, they're going to call a travel on Matthew Alexander Moncrief.
And despite that travel, it just feels like Orangeville's playing at a completely different level than TRC right now. Even when they're getting back on the defensive end, they're already set before they even get to half court. TRC can't even push the pace because defensively they're just so set in their way right now for if you are Orangeville Prep.
And a quick substitution again. Celebingate back into the game for Radakash. We're not even 5 minutes in, and both have rotated already. Kick ball that time by Moncrief.
And you could just see on that possession right there, just a struggle to get past half court, a struggle to get into your half court set. That's what Orangeville is capable of doing. They're capable of disrupting your offense before you even have an opportunity to get it going.
Right, Joe. Everybody talks about the highlight plays and the great offensive efficiency that Orangeville presents, but their defense is very underrated. One of the best, if not the best, in the OSBA. John, strong move that time, can't float it off glass. And BK going up again. Still can't unlock the chamber here, and it's going back to Orangeville.
And for Mjambu and BK and Dawson John, these are just seems like some forced shots. They can't get what they want, and this is exactly going the way that Orangeville wanted it to go. Only 7 points, but you still got a goose egg on the other end, and that has to be a perfect start.
Prentice going in strong to the rim, gets it to roll in. 9-0 here, and we're almost 5 minutes in, and TRC has yet to put a bucket up. Grumback for three. Bennett Grumback opens up the scoring here for the Wolfpack, and they needed that one, Joe.
And that was the best look they've had all game, and for them to hit that good shot, maybe it kind of opened the gates a little bit on the offensive side for TRC.
Prentice, a clean look here. Monegro with a big closeout, and Filowich gets rejected at the rim. John's going to slow it down here. Monegro guarded by Moncrief. Jefferson had to bail out of that. It's going to be a backcourt violation. We're going to see Godlock James come into the game now for the first time. One of the best perimeter defenders in the OSBA. We got a chance to see him multiple times this year, and the work he does off the bench is key to this TRC team.
And you're right, he's a great perimeter defender, but that hasn't been the problem for TRC so far in this game. Their problem is they're not interior defending, but just their ability to get those defensive rebounds.
And Orangeville's been doing an outstanding job of breaking the zone. Filowich with another offensive board. DeVario. Prentice knifing through the D, gets it to go on the floater. They got to get past half court here, and they just do. Monegro to John. John gonna let it fly. Filowich with the suffocating defense that time on the perimeter. DeVario, lots of space. Can't make him pay, but there's Stuka. Another offensive board here for Orangeville. Another chance. Goes up and he misses. It's going to stay with the Bears. And Stuka pleading for a foul.
And this has just been a nightmarish start for TRC. They can't get the boards. Orangeville's not shooting the ball really well right now.
They're not boxing out. That's the problem.
And they have no answer for Kyle Filowich, and now Coleman Stuka is also getting those rebounds. This is becoming a major problem. They're going to need to find an answer quick because on the other side, they're not playing well on offense either.
And Coleman is missing wide open shots. That will not continue all game. I can guarantee that. Great hustle by Crumback. Orangeville ends up with it, but a shot clock violation. That's the best defensive possession that TRC has had all quarter.
And I love the hustle, and I love the ability to kind of put your body on the line to try to get the ball, but he is down, and he's
cut open. He's cut open here on the floor. And the trainers are going to take a look at him here. We're going to take a quick break, and hopefully Bennett will be okay. You're watching the OSBA Final 8. Welcome back here to the OSBA Final 8. Bit of a scary sight there, Joe. Bennett going down with the cut on his head. Doesn't look too serious, though. Just he got cut open at the wrong time and the wrong spot on the floor. They had to clean it up and ready to get back to action here. 11-3 with 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. Monegro takes it up top. Selabinge coming for a screen. Jefferson decides not to take it. Great contest that time again by Kyler Filowich. He's been a disruption so far through the first quarter. Prentice. DeVario up top. Looks like there was a hook that time, and that's exactly. Oh, they're going to call a defensive foul. It looked like it was a clear hook that time by Darius DeVario.
Well, Orangeville will take that call, and TRC, that's the last thing I want to see. Maybe some calls not going their way. The score 11-3 with Almost 3:40 to go in this first quarter.
You're going to see Yeti Mubai come into the game, and just in case you guys are confused, he's wearing number 7. Prentice guarded by James. Prentice getting through. What a move that time. Tough fall, but he's going to head to the line for 2. Justice Prentice has been attacking through this first quarter relentlessly. Prentice on the year, a great free throw shooter, one of the best in the OSBA, shooting at an 87% clip from the line on the year. No good on the first. I might have jinxed that one, Joe.
I think you absolutely jinxed on it. I was going to say, are you trying to tell me that these 2 free throws are gimmies, but I guess not.
That guy only misses 13% of the time, and of course, when I mention something, he misses. Goes 0 of 2 at the line that time. Surprising miss to say the least.
It's been a surprising first quarter, kind of from both teams. Only 11 points on the board for Orangeville as well.
TRC could just not get anything easy here today. John, finally. That's the best look they've had all afternoon.
I think your jinx continues, right? When you said that, that was the nicest look that Dawson John's gotten this entire game. And this lead, despite TRC struggling so much, only 6.
There's Lorenzo Downey, who hit 5 threes in the OSBA Finals last year. A big part of TRC capturing the OSBA Finals, and now facing his former team here in the semifinals. Stuka still cold from beyond the arc here. Here's Yeti. Pulled off a highlight dunk and a highlight block yesterday. Very athletic player. And BK, speaking of athleticism, he gets it to go with a strong finish in the paint.
And this is big for TRC. A couple buckets on continuous possessions just build some momentum here. Like I said, only a 6-point lead, now 4-point lead for Orangeville.
DeVario, great ball movement here. Open shot for Downey. Too strong once again. Majabu and BK. Here's Yeti. Pull-up shot. A highly contested shot, but he still got it to go off glass. TRC starting to find themselves.
It only took 1:30 for this game to kind of feel completely different from what we saw in the first 7 minutes.
Stolen. James with the ball. Clear path to the lane. Off the glass to BK. In a game like this, to pull off something like that, you got to have a lot of confidence in your passer.
Unbelievable play, and now tied at 11 with 2 to go. This game is wide open.
You're watching the best league in Canada, OSBA Final 8 High School Championships. Welcome back here to the OSBA Final 8. It was once 11-3. Now it's all tied up at 11, and coming off that spectacular dunk, that is quite the chance to take here in a semifinal game, especially against the 20-0 Orangeville Bears.
Yeah, you got to have some big guts to take a shot like that and make a play like that, but they didn't, and it's all tied up, and the momentum's all with TRC.
And Prentice continuing to attack here, and he's going to head to the line for 2 once again. Justice has been consistent in getting to the line here and trying to get through the defense.
And the last time we saw him at the line, a rare 2 misses. You mentioned he was 87%. He's got to make these free throws, especially just to kind of cool TRC down a little bit.
Hits his first that time. 1:47 remaining in the first. Justice Prentice, class of 2020, 6'1" guard, third leading scorer on this Orangeville team at just under 13 points per game. You're going to see Dyson Frank coming into the game for the first time. Dyson had a quiet but big game yesterday, 7 of 9, 18 points to go along with 5 rebounds in the quarterfinals.
And he was the guy.
Prep.
He was the guy early in that game that really kind of lit a fire under Orangeville when they were struggling against Rise Prep.
Speaking of the guy, Dawson John going in and drawing the foul. Coleman looked like he was straight up, but Dawson John creating the contact that time. That's exactly what he needs to do to get going here.
And I think it just I think TRC just needed to see the ball go into the basket a couple of times, because they look like they're playing with a little bit more confidence, a little bit more of a rhythm. It feels like they're not kind of playing tight. They're playing loose now, and that's exactly what you need to do when you're playing a team like Orangeville. You can't kind of go into the game maybe playing not to lose or any kind of mindset like that. They need to play to win, and they're finally kind of getting their shots to go in and getting Dawson John and BK involved. Surprisingly,
though, Matthew Alexander Moncrief, coming off a 33-point game, has been quiet in this first quarter as we have 90 seconds to go. Almost stolen. Moncrief can't handle it. And it stays in with TRC. What an effort play that time by James. James racing up the court now. One-on-one with Frank. Finds Yeti. Frank's going to pick up that matchup. Yeti going is strong. What a quick first step that time. The shortest player on the floor. Arguably jumps the highest, though.
And he just zoomed by, like you said, on that first step.
Moncrief held up, nearly stolen. James going for it, but it's going to be a foul on the floor. But they're still fired up about it. TRC has an extra pep to their step now.
It's kind of been the tale of two parts of this first quarter. The beginning, TRC was getting disrupted on their offense almost every possession, and now it seems like they're trying to attack those passing lanes. They're trying to get those jump balls in favor of them, and even though there was a foul there, you can tell they're fired up. They're playing the game that they want to play.
Moncrief misses another free throw here. Gets a second to go, 1 of 2 at the line. All tied up at 14. Yeti with the ball. BK John with a little bit of space here. Dawson John for 3.
And that's all he needs, just a little bit of space, and it'll make you pay every single time.
Frank with the screen on Yeti. Prentice. TRC's defense is becoming suffocating now. DeVario trying to knife through with the floater, no good. And they keep it in, but TRC comes away with it, and a foul on Dyson Frank. That's only their second team foul of the quarter. With 23 seconds to go, they can hold for the last shot if they choose to do so. TRC back-to-back defending champions. Orangeville trying to dethrone them here. Yeti in strong, no call. And BK with the two-hand flush. No basket. No basket. They're going to call a travel on Majabu and BK. Wow. Wow. A turn of events there, Joe. This TRC team was just about to be so fired up off that two-hand flush.
And we'll see if Orangeville can make them pay for that travel, because they got an opportunity at this final shot.
Yeah, momentum is clearly on TRC's side now. Prentice, bounce pass to Moncrief. He gets it to go off glass. And that's going to be the end of the quarter here. 17-16. This game is better than advertised, I'd say. You're watching the OSBA Final 8 High School Championships. Stick around for second quarter action. Come back here to semifinal action, 17-16. Orangeville trails TRC right now, and a big part of Orangeville's deficit, well, 1 point deficit here. It's not the end of the world, obviously, as Moncrief going in strong, can't get it to go in. Coleman Stuka, the leading scorer at 21 points per game, is 1 of 8 right now from the field, Joe, and 1 of 4 from three-point land.
And he's the guy that you expect this won't last the entire game. He's just too good to be in this much of a rut on the offensive side. But still, this is a concern for Orangeville because early on in this game, they could have put their foot on the throat of TRC. They were struggling on all ends, but they only had 11 points with around 4 minutes to go, and that's when this game completely changed. TRC has a little bit more pep in their step. They're playing well on the offensive end.
Yeti to Mbike, a wide open 3 that time, and he drains it. Yesterday, we know Mbike is not known as a three-point shooter, but he went 1 of 1 yesterday, and now he's 2 of 2 perfect in this tournament.
Yep, you can still say he's 100% in the OSBA tournaments from the three-point range.
Oh my goodness, that's a man flying through the air, and he gets the foul as well. Matthew Alexander Moncrief, potentially the most athletic player we have in the OSBA.
And what a much-needed basket for Orangeville where, you just gave up a wide-open 3 to Mbike for to come back at the end, one opportunity. We know that MA, he's not the best free throw shooter, but he's going to make you pay eventually if you keep getting him to the line.
And you know what? Your star's got to step up here. MA only shooting 2 for 6 from the field, along with Coleman Stuka, 1 of 8. But I think, Joe, I think we both have confidence that that's not going to last the whole game.
And I think one guy to look out for, he's already on the defensive end, Kyle Filowich. He was dominant on the offensive boards, and that was one of the key components on what made Orangeville at least kind of have that lead early on in the game, was getting those offensive rebounds. They're going to need him to step up here in this second, third, and fourth quarter.
Screen set by Celebingue, gives some room for Monegro. No good. Yeti coming in for the dunk. My goodness.
And just on that possession,
where did he come from, Joe?
On that possession, you can see it was a wide-open 3 off a screen that wasn't happening early on, and then you give an offensive board to maybe the smallest guy on the court, and he's getting 2 free throws. What an unbelievable effort, though.
That was insane. And
it was something else.
You guys might be wondering why it's number 1 with tape on his back, but it's supposed to represent number 7. That's the word we got at the start of the game. So, yeah. Yeti at the line, missed the first one, 20-18, almost a minute into the second quarter, and he misses both that time. And it's going to stay with TRC. Went off the back of Filowich that time. Just an unlucky play. Yeti to inbound now, guarded by Downey on the baseline. They get it into John. Celebingue looking to go to work, spinning off the man. Can't float it in over Filowich. Prentice now, leading scorer for Orangeville. He's got 9. Filowich tried to pass it inside to Stuka. Good help defense. DeVario to Downey. Prentice has to pull back. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Justice to Stuka. Shoots, and he gets it to go fading away. Coleman Stuka, finally another field goal here, 2 of 9. Yeti. Celebingue to Mbike. Might have got away with the carry that time, but it goes back the other way regardless.
Seemed like some miscommunication between him and Dawson John. It looked like he was thinking he was going to take it from him there, but
didn't really get into their offensive set that time. Filowich with a hard screen, gives a wide open shot to Prentice. Can't make him pay that time. Yeti going in strong, not stopping for anyone, almost got that one to go. Prentice, push off that time, and they're going to call that all day. That was obvious. Got to be thinking, if you're Tony McIntyre, this has got to be a scary story. This is similar to what happened last year in the semifinals against Thornley. Everyone thought that Orangeville would score with some ease here, but it's a tight game through a quarter and a half, and Monegro way too easy to the paint. No help defense that time.
And just the defensive intensity has just gone down for Orangeville since kind of the halfway point in that first quarter. They got to pick it up on the defensive end and turn those great defensive possessions into offensive opportunities.
Monegro now Coming off that last basket and drive to the rim. Jefferson can't get around Lorenzo. Nearly stolen, but Yeti comes away with it. Yeti crossover in the lane. He's got a crazy burst of speed, but couldn't finish. Stuka, Euro step with the left hand, gets it to roll in.
And just like we said, it wasn't going to last very long for him shooting such a poor percentage. He's going to start making some buckets, and it's already 2 for 2 in the second.
3 of 9 overall from the field here so far today in the first half for Coleman Stuka. Double screen coming now. Monegro over to Mbike. Celebingue calling for it in the paint. Lorenzo Downey with a great cutoff. Yeti, wide open 3. Hit the front of the rim. Back come the Bears. All tied up at 22 here. Low scoring game so far. Justice, crossover. Lorenzo, deep range 3. Downey too strong that time. Filowich with the rebound. Draws a foul on Brian Celebingue.
And that's what they've been missing in the past 8 minutes of this game. And it's been Kyle Filowich getting those offensive boards and potentially getting either some free throws or some clean looks underneath the basket.
It looks like Grumbach coming back into the game with a bandage on him. The TRC bench I was trying to listen to what they were saying to the referee, but I think they're trying to get a technical foul on Kyler Filowich for the extracurricular activity after that foul.
I think that's one way you can call it.
No good at the line. Filowich on the year, a porous free throw shooter, only shooting 37% from the charity stripe. But he is their 4th leading scorer on the year, 11.5. And we've seen already here today what a difference maker he is on the defensive end and on the offensive rebound.
And I think to that point that you made, if you want to consider maybe some of the chinks in the armor of Orangeville to their free throw shooting, I think a lot of the times, a lot of their guys, they're great and they're difference makers, but not a lot of them shoot the free throws particularly well.
And Dawson John, 2 of 2 from beyond the arc here today. Coming off a great game, 26 points in the quarterfinal yesterday against Father Henry Carr. Prentice, Stuka, sizing up his man, into Filowich, 1 dribble, gets it to go in, the foul. Great assist that time by Stuka. I thought he was going to go up with that one. Decide to pass the last second.
And a terrific response by Orangeville after that 3 from Dawson John to not let them start pulling away from this, just get right back, go into the paint. That's what you've been so successful in so far in this game. And Kyle Filowich, he missed both free throws the last time. If he can get one on this upcoming free throw, that would be huge.
And Jeremy Kaye wants to talk it over. We're going to take a quick break here ourselves. You're watching the OSBA Final 8 High School Championships. Welcome back here to the OSBA Final 8 High School Championships. Second quarter action underway alongside Joe D'Agostino, Anthony Gallo on hand. 5:47 remaining here, and it's been a tightly contested game through the first quarter and some change here.
Yeah, back and forth they've gone, but TRC kind of feels like they have a little bit more of an edge here on both ends of the court. But you can never count out Orangeville. They're just too good to consider out of any game, especially one when they're only down by 1.
Grumbach inside to Nana Boateng. Gets it stolen. And Downey comes away with it. Prentice. Bounce pass to Filowich. They're going to call a charge, and Nana Boateng takes the foul. Didn't get too many minutes this year in the regular season, but class of 2021, expect him to be a featured option next year on this Wolfpack team.
And it's plays like that that gain you more minutes in games. Those are the type of plays that just impact it in such an important way, knowing that you're just getting the ball back, you're forcing them, another guy getting another foul. That was a big play there for TRC as a whole.
Drum back. Crossover, trying to get to a spot. Nice bounce pass to Boateng, and he banks it in. That was beautifully done. Great pick and roll action. Two-man game. Under 5 minutes to go now in the half. 3-point lead by TRC. Inside to Stuka. Filowich. Oh, what defense here. Grumbach stole it right out of his hands. Grumbach using his strength. James, power move. Can't get it to fall, but he draws a foul. 2 shots coming up.
And he's fired up to get to the line because he knows that his team's starting to feel it. And he's one of those guys that he brings so much energy to the team. And when he's on the court, it just brings the entire team's confidence level up. And, 2 opportunities here to make it a 5-point game. And I think TRC, they have to be extremely happy with how they played in this entire game so far.
James, 6'5", class of 2020. Just under 10 points per game on the year. And like we said, Joe, it's really what he does on the defensive end off the bench that really makes him a focal point for this TRC team. DeVario. Prentice, guarded by John. Stuka nearly stolen that time, fighting for the ball. John keeps it in, but it goes back to Orangeville. Downey doesn't take the 3. Under the rim, and they're going to call a blocking foul. 2 shots coming up here for Lorenzo.
And how many times have we seen TRC attack those passing lanes like they did on the possession? Fortunately for them, it went right back to Orangeville, and now 2 free throw opportunities for Orangeville Prep.
We're on the cusp of going in to the halftime, and Orangeville is only at 24 points. That is unheard of.
It's been an unbelievably impressive defensive performance by TRC Academy as a collective unit as well. They play a lot of guys. Their rotation isn't small. They have a large rotation. Their bench is deep, and, they've played a fantastic first half. And unfortunately, you don't play one half, you play 2. So you're going to have to do this again. And there's still 4 minutes here in the second quarter. So Orangeville, they can put up points very quickly, so it's not over yet for them, but still, what an impressive start. And
we've seen Matthew Alexander Moncrief with an extended rest here. Here's Yeti for TRC. Yeti Mubai. Try to bounce it in there, and it's going to stay with TRC. James tried to hit it off the back of the player. He does. Grumbach. Good closeout that time by Prentice. Boateng with the offensive board. John going in strong. Eludes the defender. In and out. And Stuka comes away with it, and James picks up a foul. He's got to be careful here. Ref might call a technical on him. And they're over the limit now, and Stuka's going to head to the line for 2. Both teams over the limit.
And that's a frustrating foul just because you're just trying to get the ball. No one has possession. You think that you have just as much of that at that space in that air for the ball as your defender, and unfortunately for James, he's going to have to sit on the bench here. They're going to get 2 opportunities to cut this lead to 1.
Coleman Stuka on the year, just under 80% free throw shooter, very efficient. Overall, just a great shooter. Shoots it 51% from the field and 42% from 3-point range.
I think that a lot of the focus on him is, his 3-point shot, but he's a guy who can drive to the basket and make a ton of plays inside the paint.
Yeti to Selabinge, gets it to go despite the great defense by Filowich. The lead is extended to 4 points now, coming up on the 3:30 mark of the second quarter. DeVario to Prentice. Stuka for 3. Coleman still can't unlock the chamber here. And Yeti to bring it up, slowing down the pace. Grumback had an open shot there, yet he didn't find him. John looking to break down his defender. Grumback, 3. Grumback gets it to go from the corner.
He was the guy who opened the scoring for TRC. He got their first points of the game, and now he got, so far, their last points in this game, and that was a huge 3 points.
Looking like Steve Nash with the patch on his eye in a playoff game. Prentice knifing through the D, can't get it to go. Boateng with a strong rebound, and back comes TRC. 7-point lead. They got to get it across half court. And they just do. Yeti for 3. He banks it in.
I think Orangeville needs a timeout.
The lead has ballooned up to 10 here. Orangeville looks human finally. All year they've looked unbeatable, and now they trail by 10 here in the second quarter. You're watching the OSBA Final 8 High School Championships. Welcome back to the OSBA Final 8. And Orangeville is surprisingly down by 10 here, but this is where champions are made. You're facing a deficit. If they come back here, it'll be very impressive, and a foul on the floor, and that's where they got to start. They got to get to the line here, and DeVario is the guy you want at the line too.
Yeah, 100%. You want to at least get these free, easy opportunities, like you said, at the free throw line. And Orangeville with 26 points compared to 36, a 10-point deficit. And especially the way this game started, it was 11-3 around the 3-minute mark in the first quarter, and just the tide completely changed. And I feel like Orangeville is just trying to get their feet underneath them right now on both ends of the court.
And Moncrief continuing to sit here. Darius makes the next free throw. Yeti, who's had himself a great game here.
Playing with so much confidence.
Didn't
right
play
now.
too much in the regular season. Both games, I called TRC maybe 3-4 times this year and didn't see him once. No foul on the floor. Grumback for 3. Oh, that would have been a killer there. Prentice to DeVario. Wide open 3. Darius can't find the range. Yeti once again bringing it up slowly. Orangeville still playing that man-to-man defense here. Celebingue to extend his range. In and out that time. They're getting some great looks from beyond the arc here, Joe. Downey, Stuka regains it for 3. Too strong that time. Coleman can't find the range.
And just getting that hand in the passing lane, forcing that bad pass and making him take just that extra half second, not getting in perfect form, is what's going to disrupt their offensive game, and that was perfect defense.
Boateng looking to go to work in the post. Might have got away with the shuffle that time, but he hooks it in. Coming up on the 1-minute mark here, 11-point game. DeVario. Darius. Bounce pass to Stuka. Missed the dunk. And on the rebound, there's Justice Prentice.
Much needed basket for Orangeville. They got to close out this quarter strong and on a good defensive spot as well as a good offensive spot.
Celebingue. Screen here. Yeti bounce pass to John, slips. No travel call. The ball all over the place. Boateng can't float it up. Last shot of the quarter coming up perhaps. DeVario behind the back. Darius to Lorenzo for three. Can't get it to go at the end of the quarter. 5 seconds to go at the half. Grumback shoots. Can't get it to go, and that's going to be the end of the quarter. There's a lot of contact near the end, and 38-29, TRC leads here. What a first half. You're watching the OSBA Final 8 High School Championships. Stick around for second half action. Welcome back to second half action here, 38-29. You'd think it might be for Orangeville, but no, TRC with a 9-point lead over Orangeville. Joe, what was really the key for TRC in that first half to coming out with this 9-point lead at the half?
Well, it's kind of surprising because I don't think they really changed the way they played at that beginning of the first quarter where they struggled. It just felt like Orangeville, on the flip side, defensively just weren't making the same consistent effort every single possession. And if you're Orangeville, you got to step it up on both sides of the court, and you got to start getting some offensive boards. Kyle Filovich almost got one there. He has 11 boards already. And
make it 12 now on that defensive rebound and 4 offensive boards. Are they going to call? And they're going to call that offensive. Darius DeVario, one of the best all-around hustle players in the OSBA.
And those are going to be the type of hustle plays that you need moving forward in this second half. And the reality is, Orangeville hasn't really been in a situation like this many times this year. They're usually not calling them front runners, but they have been in front in almost any game and usually big leads. They've been in some close games throughout the year against Bill Crothers, Lincoln Prep, TRC, the very first game of the season. And I think that obviously they're built to come back. It's just this is a situation that they're not too familiar with, and we'll see kind of how they respond to it.
DeVario. And yeah, Joe, they played twice this year. First game, Orangeville won by 4. Oh, what a move by M.A., who's only played 8 minutes through this game. Make that 9 minutes now. But he had foul trouble in that first half with 2 fouls. And looks like Tony McIntyre's not wasting any time getting him back on the floor with a steal. Moncrief with a 2-handed flush. A great steal leading to great offense. What are they calling here? A warning on Matthew Alexander Moncrief.
He's pleading his case here, and I think he does have a fair point. He was hanging a bit, but
he hung on it so he doesn't land on the opposing player.
Yeah, it looked like I wasn't sure which guy was behind MA, but it did look like he kind of ran into MA. It wasn't so.
TRC wants to talk it over after a quick start here by Orangeville. We'll be right back. 8:46 remaining in the third quarter. Welcome back after a quick timeout by Jeremy Kaye. Didn't like what he was seeing here to start off the second half. Dawson John. 2 unanswered baskets by Orangeville, and another steal here. Moncrief with some space, but great effort by Grumbach to get back and deflect it out. It will stay Orangeville ball, but that could have been an easy 2 for MA.
And that would have been a quick 6 points for Matthew Alexander Moncrief, a guy that they need to step up in a big way to kind of cut this lead and then, you know, for them to potentially take it back. And, you know, he's been fantastic all season long. They're going to need him to be just as fantastic in the second half.
And this is the matchup right here. John versus Moncrief. Prentice with the soft touch. Gets it to roll in. Justice Prentice had 11 in that first half on 4 of 7 shooting. Make that 5 of 8 now for 13 points. Overthrown, and TRC is starting to fall apart here right in front of our eyes, Joe. 3-point lead now. That's 3 turnovers within 2 minutes, Joe.
Yeah, this has been a bad start to the second half. And for TRC, this is kind of the story what happened earlier on when they were struggling at the beginning of the first quarter.
And early on, James and Yeti getting pulled out here. Jeremy Kaye not taking any chances. Prentice, Moncrief, Moncrief, strong move, finds the open Justice. Prentice gets it to go from the corner, and we're all tied up just like that. A 9-0 run to start off the second half, Joe. Orangeville is starting to express themselves here. John, strong move, and he answers right back.
Massive response by TRC because, like you said, all that work you put in for that first quarter to get that 9-point lead, at the snap of your fingers, it's already gone. And that was a huge, huge play by Dawson John to just get something going in this third quarter.
Moncrief, what a move. On all 11 of their points here in the second half, he's either scored or assisted on them. What a difference Matthew Alexander Moncrief makes. The Oklahoma State University commit, they're going to get a gem in him next year. Off-ball screen for MBK. BK, long-range three, missed, and Moncrief comes down with a board. DeVario, Stuka, one dribble, gets it to go, and the foul! He went up for a dunk. He didn't end up flushing it down, but it went in anyways, and he's gonna get an extra shot.
I think he'll take that because that was a huge, huge play by Colin Stuka. He struggled in that first quarter, 1 for 8. In a much better second quarter. Still not at the level that we expect him to be, but for him to get something going in here early in the third and can maybe propel him to an even better second half.
It's the first lead of the second half for Orangeville. They haven't had a lead since the first quarter. 3-point game now. John, TRC. It says a lot about them, how they answer this run. And Filowich fighting for it, gets the rebound, and they're going to call a push on Dawson John. Momentum is clearly swung in the hands of the Bears.
And I think this game has just been a game of runs. It felt like Orangeville kind of had possession of this game early on, and then it flipped to TRC in that second quarter, and now starting the third, it's Orangeville right back on top.
Moncrief, Stuka, that's a clean look. Coleman still can't get it to go from deep range, but an offensive board. Prentice finds the open Stuka, trying to get going from three. Finally gets it to go from deep range. Coleman Stuka needed that one. Oh, what a dunk by MA. That happened so fast. I was looking down at the stats. I didn't even see it happen. My goodness, Joe. What a run here. After being down by 9 at half, they have taken an 8-point lead here. 6:10 remaining in the third quarter. You're watching the OSBA Final 8 High School Championships. Back here in the third quarter, 6:10 remaining, and has been an Orangeville explosion, Joe.
Yeah, that's saying it really lightly. It's a 19-2 run in this 4 minutes in favor of Orangeville. This game has, again, just completely turned the tide. TRC, they're not out of this, but they got to find a response here.
Moncrief playing excellent basketball right now on both ends of the floor, and BK, and a charging foul. Orangeville is playing exceptional basketball, really displaying why they were 20-0 this year, and no team could beat them.
And right now, the concern for me is MBK is getting frustrated with his teammates, with the refs. He's got to get himself collected and just kind of, cool it down a bit, because they need him to step up in a big way, and can't have one of your best players kind of start to get frustrated.
They called a technical foul on MBK that time, Joe.
And it's kind of what I was talking about, just the frustration talking to the referees. even before that, before he went to a break when MA got that steal and just, screaming at his teammates to get back to the ball. And obviously the frustration is starting to build, and I can't blame TRC right now. This game has taken such a sudden turn.
And Joe, if there was ever a question of what kind of impact Matthew Alexander Moncrief has on the floor, we just saw it right there. Everyone could say, oh, he's playing on a loaded team. But when he was not on the floor in that second quarter with foul trouble, we saw them go down by 10 at one point. And just like this, they have a 9-point lead, and he's continuing to get going, and the foul, Moncrief.
It's just unbelievable how easy this game comes to him, and it's just a complete change of what we saw in the first quarter. You mentioned he only played 8 minutes in that first half, and he's played all the minutes in the second, and it's showing what type of impact he can make.
Right now, TRC has no answer, only scoring 2 points so far through the first 4 minutes of this third quarter and some change.
And the reality is, if Matthew Alexander Moncrief plays the way he's playing right now in this third quarter, you cannot beat Orangeville. He is just too good to get this on a team like that they have. For him to put this type of numbers up, it's just too dangerous.
Joe, I'm going to take it a step further here. When he plays at Oklahoma State and he plays like this and he takes that next step, I almost guarantee within the next year or two, he'll be a lottery pick in the NBA if he continues to play at this level. Monegro, guarded by Prentice. Monegro, tough shot, but draws the foul. And Justice knew he committed that all the way.
And we were kind of talking about that in the first half when TRC went on their run. Just get to the free throw line, get some opportunities at some free points, just something that you don't really have to earn and work really hard for. Monegro, an opportunity to cut this lead to 9, and they got to do more than just cut this lead to 9, though, because we know Orangeville, they're capable of just going in another flurry at any second.
They got to hit their free throws as well, Joe. It's both teams really have been struggling from the line here this afternoon. And he goes 1 of 2 at the line. Prentice with the ball now. Guarded by Grumbach. Filowich. Moncrief baseline. Oh, what a move that time. Am I really seeing this happen, Joe?
You just can't be stopped right now. There's nothing they can do defensively.
There is no answer for this kid. Monegro to Boateng. And it should be a kickball violation, and that's what they call. And Joe, we saw Orangeville playing man-to-man defense in that first half. Looks like they're firmly in their zone set.
And the thing is in that first quarter, it was 11-3 with around 4 minutes to go. And in this quarter, they've been outscored, I think, 23-3 now. The difference is that Orangeville's starting to get it going offensively.
Active hands in the passing lanes, and Grumbach can't hit that mid-range. Blocked by Filowich. Grumbach finally takes the lid off the rim that time. That's only their second field goal of this half, Joe, and we're under 5 minutes to go now in the third quarter.
Again, it's what we saw in the first quarter. The difference is that Orangeville is actually getting it going offensively, and you just can't put a lid on the basket against this team for too long.
Filowich try to make the extra pass, tipped. DeVario, Moncrief, and the foul again. Matthew Alexander Moncrief is unguardable right now. No, he just can't be stopped. There's no other way around it.
This is coming off a 33-point performance yesterday against Rise Prep. He is taking over this tournament right now.
See Yeti come back into the game. Monegro take a seat. And MA gets it to go. Good looking free throw shot that time. Yeti, who had a big impact in the first half. Looks like they have figured him out. Oh, another steal here. Moncrief taking flight. Can't get the finger roll to go. Filowich gets it to go. That should have been offensive interference.
It should have been, but they're not going to call it in.
I think the refs missed that one. Regardless, 58-43. Celebingue inside. Can't get it to go. He had the open Dawson John in the right corner. Boateng. Grumbach. Three-point shot. Well short of the rim. And there's Yeti. He missed again. TRC cannot find the stroke right now. And DeVario's going to slow it down here, get in their offensive set. Stuka in the high post. Faces him up. Stuka driving in and draws the foul on Nana Boateng.
And that's what's so scary about this Orangeville team. All the emphasis and all the highlights are going to MA, and you almost forget that Coleman Stuka, a guy who was also a first-team All-Star in the OSBA this year, is on this team. And, you know, he can be quiet for the first half, but he can light it up just as much as Moncrief or anyone else on this team.
You're going to see Victor Radikash come in now. Jeremy Kaye just trying to switch it up here, looking for any answer. It's crazy because as good as MA is playing, it really opens up for Coleman Stuka. Like you were just talking about here, and he's now getting one-on-one coverage. He might have missed a bunch of three-pointers in that first half, but he's more than just a shooter, that's for sure.
Yeah, he can drive into the paint. He can play great defense on the other end.
And he's so efficient, too. Had a 50-40 year this year, as in 50% from the field and 40% from three-point range. Out of bounds, and it's going to stay with TRC. Yeti to bring it up now for the Wolfpack. Orangeville back to the man-to-man. Yeti draws the foul. 59-43, 3:09, and what a tale of two halves, Joe.
And this is a crucial final 3 minutes of this third quarter. They got to get something going. They got to cut this lead to maybe 10, 11, around that range to at least just kind of give you some hope going into that fourth quarter, because it's been all Orangeville in this first 7 minutes of the third. And, you know, you miss another free throw. They've struggled from the line now, and that's the last thing you want to see when you got to try to get yourself back into this game.
And, Joe, what a game we've had here so far. And just a reminder, we still got one more to go today. We got Bill Crothers versus Central Tech. That is quite the rivalry throughout the year.
Yeah, I can't wait for that game. And, you know, there was a reason why we couldn't wait for this game either.
Right.
Just two fantastic teams, and I know it's a 16-point lead.
There's still lots of time to go.
Tons of time left, and it's been back and forth this entire way.
I wouldn't be surprised if TRC has a couple more runs in them, but if Moncrief keeps stealing it away, they'll have no chance, and Stuka can't get it to go despite all the contact. Yeti to bring it up now for TRC. And BK, Euro stepping in, tough shot, can't get it to fall. And it's going to stay with TRC.
And then BK's got to be one of those guys to just step up and take this game over for TRC. Dawson John sitting on the bench right now. When he gets in the game, this can't be a long rest, because he's got to make an impact when he gets back in as well.
Radikash, jump shot, no good. Moncrief to Prentice. Moncrief in the lane, spinning, doing a pirouette, just couldn't finish. Yeti, strong move, and the foul. Oh, offensive foul. Oh, sorry, no, they're counting the basket. I got mistaken when the ref pointed his hand that way. I thought it was a symbol of a charge, but count the basket and a chance at an extra point here for Yeti.
And Yeti struggled from the line so far. I think he's missed all 4 of his free throws. He's got to make these free throws especially if he's getting these opportunities near the end of this game. With the lead being 14 points, we shouldn't forget that TRC kind of went on around a 10-3 run in that second quarter. So they're capable of kind of making that continuous run here against Orangeville. The reality is, though, Orangeville, they just got to cool it down offensively for TRC to have a chance, because no one's been able to stop Matthew Alexander Moncrief.
DeVario to Filowich. Nearly lost it. Prentice knifing through the D, and he puts it in. And the Orangeville crowd is alive and well behind their bench right now. And BK to James. They're just shutting down the painted area there. And Boateng with a rare basket down low here in the second half. Stuka pushed off, and it's going to be a blocking foul on Radikash.
Tough call for TRC there.
Yeah, they're over the limit. 2 free shots coming up for Stuka.
if you want to put it into perspective on how much of an offensive flurry we just saw from Orangeville, they had 29 points at the end of the first half. They're at 61. They scored more in this third quarter than they did in the entire 20 minutes that they played at the start of this game. And that's just the reality that this team is. Even if they're ice cold for 20 minutes, they will find they'll find lightning in a bottle, and they'll cash in, and that's exactly what they've done in this third.
Now Yeti and TRC looking for an answer here. James, strong move, offensive foul.
And just the calls aren't going the way of TRC.
James got to be careful here. He almost picked up a technical foul in that first half. Looks like Grumbach is coming in the game now. Add a little bit more shooting to this lineup. Prentice to take it up now for the Bears. Darius finding his spot in the mid-range. Darius can't get the roll. And it comes back out to TRC. Yeti to BK going up strong with the one-handed hammer. Perhaps that will put a little bit of momentum on their side and get TRC going here.
That alley-oop slam in the first quarter was what kind of got TRC going. Maybe just a flashy play by MBK there is the one that kind of turned the tides here.
Filowich to Moncrief. Great ball movement here by the Bears. Moncrief looking to break down his defender. Cut off. Stuka, 5 seconds on the shot clock. Fading away. No good that time. Radikash with a strong rebound. They got a chance at a 2-for-1 here, but I think, yeah, Kaye wants the 2-for-1. Yeti going in strong. Stolen right out of the hands of Yeti. DeVario blocked by BK. And BK with the rejection. And Filowich with the rebound and the basket.
Just disheartening for TRC. And BK ran and zoomed down the court, making sure he can get that block, but Filowich was there to clean up the glass. Just an easy bucket.
Boateng, no good. 2-second difference between shot clock and game clock, and TRC finds themselves in a 15-point hole right now going into the fourth quarter.
Potentially more.
DeVario, Prentice for 3 at the buzzer, no good. And that'll do it for the third quarter. What a turn of events here in this third period, Joe. 65-50. TRC trails now after being up by 9 at the half. You're watching the OSBA Final 8 High School Championships. Getting you set for fourth quarter action. TRC finding themselves in a 15-point deficit after being up by 9 at half. And Joe, I don't really need to say it. Why don't you tell me about Moncrief's performance in that third quarter?
Well, he had 7 points at halftime, only played 8 minutes, and we were kind of wondering, you know, they got to get this guy going because he is their star. And, well, I think going 10 for 16 from the field now with 22 points.
He put in
just
15
in the third quarter. Just an electric performance by one of the best players in the OSBA.
Speaking of one of the best players in the OSBA, Stuka missed another 3 that time.
And the reality is TRC season on the line here with 10 minutes left, down 15. Got to get some stops, and you got to start making some of those threes. Get into the paint, get some and ones, get to the free throw line. Everything's got to go your way here.
And Joe, if TRC ends up losing, there will be officially a new champion in the OSBA this year.
Not to mention a lot of what-ifs coming out of halftime.
Right. DeVario pulling back here. Crossover. Scoop layup. He can't bank it in. Filowich can't tip it in either. And TRC gets bailed out that time. And now you got to get a good offensive set here. Get a clean look. Yeti held up again. Tough shot. No foul. Very low percentage shot that time.
Yeah, not a great look. And with Dawson John and MBK both on the bench to start this fourth quarter, they're going to have to find some offense somewhere, and it's going to be tough. I'm actually mistaken. MBK is on the court now, and they're going to bring in Dawson John and James.
It's crazy.
Well.
It's crazy how good Orangeville is. Coleman Stuka, their leading scorer, 1 of 9 from three-point range today, I should say, and they're still up by 15.
Not to mention he has 16 points on the day as well. It's just, you know, that's
just
the thing
can't
about
find the
Orangeville. It's a quiet night for Stuka, and he still has 16 points. It's just one of those teams that you can't count him out.
DeVario can add to the deficit.
And this could be a key for TRC moving in transition.
Smart foul by Prentice that time. TRC needs a spark here. Oh, they're calling a shooting foul.
They might actually, well, he made the shot, so this might be.
No. Oh, they're calling a shooting foul. I thought he got fouled well before the shot, Joe.
I think it might be a clear path because he made the shot when he went up, so.
There can't be a clear path. There was guys well behind him, or well in front of him, I should say. Oh, they're.
It looks like that's what it is.
I think you're right, Joe. They're getting possession too, yeah.
It looks like it was a clear path because he made the shot.
Right.
But
interesting call here. TRC gets 2 points here. Have a chance to add to it. James, wide open 3, no good. And it goes back to Orangeville. Stuka finds Prentice. Moncrief. Nice bounce pass to Filowich and a lot of contact that time.
And not the worst foul in the world.
No.
Filowich has not made a free throw in this game. So, you know, getting him to the free throw line isn't the worst thing for TRC, but also giving a team like Orangeville free opportunities is also not the best plan in the world either.
Well, if you're going to foul anyone, it's got to be Kyler. Only 37% from the line this year. Grumback back into the game now. James going to take a seat after that foul. Kyler 1 of 2 at the line that time. And John to bring it up now. Here's Grumback. And BK. Majabu going baseline, can't get it to fall. And once again, another strong rebound by Orangeville. Darius to slow it down. Screen coming from Kyler. Stuka to Prentice, shot fake, in the lane, draws the foul. I believe they're calling Another unsportsmanlike foul here, Joe.
And that is not what you want if you're TRC right now. You're down 14 with 8 minutes left. Can't take fouls like that in this situation.
Grumbach was just trying to stop him from shooting the ball. And he goes 2 of 2 at the line.
He's right in front of us, still trying to get an explanation
Right.
on why he was called for unsportsmanlike there. But here, TRC, you just got to live with the call and play through it here, because there's no time for really complaining or arguing. You got to find a way to get back into this game. 8
minutes. This could be the last game of your season here. You want to go down with a fight. Prentice has the ball now, guarded by Dawson John. Darius. Filowich finds DeVario, wide open look. Darius still can't find the range here. And Selabingay comes down with the rebound. Majabu. Out to John. Crossover. John going in strong. Gets it to go. That went off the head of Brian Selabingay.
Hey,
Too
whatever
strong of a
works.
pass. I think Brian should get an assist on that play. 68-54, timeout by Orangeville. We'll be right back. (68-54). 14-point lead here for Orangeville. 7:30 remaining in the fourth quarter. Do or die time for both of these teams. TRC has to try and find a way out of this deficit. Stuka for 3. Coleman in and out. It has been that kind of game. 1 of 10 from three-point range here this afternoon. Yeti has the ball on a string. BK, strong move, baseline, met by 2 hands that time. Tough shot.
And then BK's just struggled when he's been driving into the paint in this fourth quarter to get something going.
Filowich, strong move, no foul that time. And Selabingay comes down with the strong board. Grumbach for 3. No good. Moncrief. Filowich down low. Give and go with Moncrief. Gets it to go, and the foul again.
Just unbelievable performance by M.A. Moncrief. And, you know, he had a quiet fourth quarter here. Hasn't done much, but, you know, when they needed him here, when it seemed like they were a little bit in a rut offensively, just get the ball to him, and he's going to make something special happen.
Matthew Alexander Moncrief spent his 4 years at Orangeville, who will be moving on to Oklahoma State University after committing last month. And he's had a great career here in the OSBA, and he will be missed, but we're happy for him to move on to greater things, and hopefully we'll see him on the big stage one day.
Hey, and it's fitting, trading orange for orange right now. That's what MA's going to be doing, and, you know, we're happy for him.
Oh, that must have been the key factor, eh, Joe, in going to the Cowboys?
Hey, why not? if he feels like he looks good in orange, why change it?
70-54 here, 6:26 remaining in game 1 of 2 of our men's semifinal action. Just a reminder, Central Tech and Bill Crothers will be coming up after this. TRC needs a run. Give and go with Dawson John. Strong move and gets it to go. That was beautifully done on the acrobatic layup.
Well-designed play there. And I was going to say before this possession, the ball needs to run through Dawson Johnson more. I love that he doesn't force anything in his game. He just lets the ball come to him. But at this point, he's your best player. He's got to get it going, and they need a response right now with the way they're playing on the interior.
Kyler again with another easy bucket at the rim. John, extra pass to Grumback. Oh, they needed that one badly. Darius is going to pull back. DeVario, stolen by Seligman, but Filowich somehow gets it. Prentice ends up with it. Justice crossover, no look to Stuka in the corner. Coleman still can't find the range here. It is just not working for him out there. 1 of 11 from three-point range.
Yeah, just not his game behind the arc, and they're up by 16 points. That just tells you how deep this Orangeville team is.
Grumback, bounce pass to Celebingue, and a blocking foul. 2 shots coming up here for Bryant. Now we talk about TRC needing a run here, but they need a defensive stop.
Yeah, they need to play well on both ends. That's just the reality of this. This is not, a game where you can win on just one side of the court. You need to play great defensively. You need to play great offensively, and missing free throws isn't going to help your case. They got to claw their way out of this hole, and with 5 minutes left, it's going to be unbelievably difficult. This is a team, not to mention, to give more credit to Orangeville. They scored 114 points yesterday against a very good Father Henry Carr team.
You mean TRC?
TRC, yeah,
TRC.
I should say. And I think that, the fact that they've only hit 57 with the 5-minute mark is just so impressive to Orangeville's defense.
And an offensive foul that time. Prentice, a little bit too aggressive, got in the air and didn't know what to do with it and tried to pass it out. Here we go. This is the time for TRC now to go on a run. 14-point lead still for Orangeville. John with the ball. To Bryant. And BK, strong move. Gets it to go. And they're going to call a foul on Moncrief. They're calling a technical foul, too, on Moncrief. And he's going to head out of the game now. .454 remaining. The refs huddling up here. Not an official timeout after that technical foul. And BK's going to have a chance at the line here to cut it within 12. And despite the disagreement by the Orangeville fans and players here on the call, it has the potential to be a 12-point game, and we still got lots of time to go here, Joe.
And I think there might be a question on, is Matthew Alexander Moncrief, do you foul out? Because
yeah, that's
personal foul and a technical foul as well.
trying to figure out things here on the floor.
Second personal foul, 15 fouls.
Ref, did he foul out?
So by the way that things are going about now, that means that there was a technical foul call, but no personal foul.
Right, but the refs. Anyways, Downey to Stuka. DeVario to Prentice. Downey for three. Downey well off that time. And a BK with the ball. John going baseline. Met and a foul coming up. And both teams are now, Orangeville is over the limit with 5 fouls.
And essentially so is TRC with 4. The next foul is going to be in the bonus. And for TRC, I think the past around 45 seconds to a minute have been pretty good. They got a couple baskets, a technical foul, even though they didn't make it. And just, it feels like they're starting to build a little bit of momentum. A couple bad threes for Orangeville, a couple in a row by Stuke, and then
And I think Tony
Downey.
McIntyre is still trying to figure out how many fouls are on Moncrief here. And I think, me and you can agree, Joe, so are we.
Yeah, it was a little confusing. Just by the way it played out, it looked like he got it. The basket was made. They called the technical, so no personal foul was called on MA, so you get the free throw, but ball went back to Orangeville. So that's how I made out the situation.
There's no official timeout on the floor.
Dawson John, it looks like he's going to take his free throws now. This is the first, a big miss for TRC. They need to hit their free throws here.
John with the missed free throw, like you said.
Misses them both.
That's a couple big misses that time by Dawson John. He's a relatively good free throw shooter.
With the technical foul miss and those 2 free throws, it could be a 10-point lead instead right now if they were able to hit their shots.
Kickball violation that time.
Just going to add more to the clock for Orangeville to kill. You can tell. I would be shocked if they get a shot off, well above 10 seconds.
Filowich to Stuka, back to DeVario. Good help defense that time. Great ball movement. And it ends with a Frank 3. After TRC seemed like they were getting an advantage here and some momentum back, they come right back, and John for 3, no good. That's a tough bailout 3 that time. Downey with the ball. DeVario back to Stuka.
Again, don't expect him to take a shot well below that 10-second mark.
Stuka blocked by a BK at the rim and a foul.
Just as I said
Wow.
that, Coleman Stuka saw the lane and he went for a big finish, but he'll get 2 free throws instead.
Looked like he pinned that against the glass, but I guess he got a bit of his arm that time.
And you can just feel this kind of dejected feeling from TRC right now.
After looking so good in the first half, Joe, it's been a different story here in the second half. Orangeville has really put their foot on the pedal starting in that third quarter with MA's 15 points. And he gets a second to go here, 1 of 2 at the line.
And I said it in the first half. Unfortunately, the game wasn't over after the second quarter. As well as TRC played, it looks like they might get 3 shots here, which could help them try to dig themselves out of this hole. But the reality is you got to play a full 4 quarters against this Orangeville team, and there's a reason why they're undefeated. And, you can play a perfect basketball game, which I think TRC was almost as close as doing in that first half. But, the second half just started and Orangeville got going under their star MA.
Crucial free throws here for Grumbach. It's the first of 3. Misses this. Oh, I guess his foot was on the line that time. Called it 2 shots here. Stolen that time. Yeti going up and going down with the one-handed flush. They call a foul here. 2 shots coming up. Good on the second. 78-62. Getty to BK, and BK going in strong. Can't handle it, and Filowich once again comes away with it. DeVario, Stuka with the clear lane. Stuka! This time he gets it to go down with 2 hands. And the lead is ballooned to 18. John, crossover. John in the lane, foul.
And unfortunately for TRC, even when they've made a couple great plays that turnover leading to a basket, they just haven't been able to play the defense or the defensive level that we saw in that first half. And this third and fourth quarter is as tough as it gets.
John now back to the line after missing his previous 2 foul shots. Good on the first. Time is not on their side right now. Goes 2 of 2 at the line. And a foul on the play on Grumbach, and 2 free shots coming here again.
Yeah, the TRC fans and the TRC bench weren't a fan of that call, but
Radikash to come into the game now, and Grumbach going to take a seat. And he misses the second here. And the 2 guys that were on TRC's championship team currently on the floor, Lorenzo Downey and Darius DeVario. Must feel nice beating your old team. And they're still going to continue on that quest for 3 in a row. As it's almost done now, 80-64 with 2:39 remaining. Orangeville in the driver's seat here to move on to the finals. Yeti slipped, gets it back. Shot for 3, gets it to go.
and they needed that. They still got a chance here now with 13. They're going to have to start hitting some threes, and they're going to have to start playing some perfect defense. It's going to start with maybe a full court press.
Moncrief, Frank. DeVario now, back to Moncrief, hop step, blocked that time by Radikash. John, and they're going to call a foul, and 2 shots coming up here for Dawson John.
And with 2 minutes left, a potential 11-point lead in the way. It's still up in the air.
Misses the first. Dawson John has been struggling from the line here in this second half. And he gets a second to go. 12-point game, 2:07 remaining. They got to get it across half court. And a 6 and an 8-second violation that time. That was a little early, if you ask me.
It was definitely early. Your theory of the they call it at 15
Right.
seconds, not 16.
It is a little.
That was at 16 seconds. I looked at the clock, and it was really close.
And a timeout here with 1:58 remaining. They're going to talk it over here, and we're going to take a quick break. You're watching the OSBA Final 8. Okay, well, I have the back here watching the OSBA Final 8, 80-68, 158 remaining, and TRC with possession here. Yeti, who had a big three-point shot, gets it to go again. Back down to 10,
press
Joe.
it quickly. They got to do what they did on the last possession. Make things difficult.
A lot of contact here. DeVario comes away with it. A lot of numbers. He pulls it back smartly to waste more time. Darius inside to M.A. Foul. Doesn't roll in that time, but he'll head to the line for two.
And as great as Moncrief's been this entire season, this entire tournament, his struggles have been at the free throw line. So an opportunity to maybe, in a big-time situation, show that you can make these key buckets.
Silence the haters a bit, I guess you could say, Joe. As corny as that sounds. And he gets the first one to roll in. Big free throw here. And Moncrief delivers here from the line. It almost looked like he looked up at a sigh of relief. Yeti looking to go in again. No foul. And it's going back the other way. Jeremy Kaye looking for a foul, but that was just not a great offensive possession, Joe.
And I think the reality is, with how much time is left, you're going to start having to shoot these balls behind the perimeter because, with a 12-point lead, 138, you got to play some great defense, and then the amount of possessions you have left, not many.
DeVario
trying to trap here.
Facing the double and a foul coming up here. Darius DeVario will head to the line for two. With about 90 seconds remaining in this game, TRC is on the verge of now making it to the finals for the first time in 2 years, Joe.
And I think making one of these free throws potentially ices the game. You're talking about a 5-possession game where you'd have to make at least 4 threes in a minute 29. That's going to be really tough. So he hits one of these free throws. It looks like TRC's run is going to be coming to an end.
Darius misses the first. Got the reigning MVP Kobe Elvis walking behind us. Central Tech and Bill Crothers coming up next. Got a great one on our hands following this game. And the finals will be set for tomorrow. No good that time, and I think that might just do it here with 13-point lead. Surely the next basket will ice it as there's a foul once again, and Downey's going to head to the line for two.
And for TRC, a frustrating end, really, because of how well they played in yesterday's game and the entire season. They had a huge win streak coming into this tournament. They felt like they had the hot hand, and in that first half, I think you saw a lot of sweating on the Orangeville side because they played a great, great half of basketball. But, credit where credit is due. Orangeville 20-0, going to be moving to 21-0. Just unbelievably impressive season, and, led by that guy wearing number 11, M.A. Moncrief. What a performance in that third quarter. Really drove his team to victory.
BK can't hit the step-back three. And I'd be surprised if they continue to try to foul, and they do here. 14-point lead, 1:02 remaining. 2 shots coming up for Darius again.
And both teams in the next game, Central Tech and Bill Crothers, they're already in the gym. They're waiting for their tip-off. That's been a little bit of delayed because of these games going a little longer than we expected.
And what happened at the start of the game with Bennett Grumbach, the cut on his eye. Thankfully, he's all right. Came back into the game, gave him good minutes. This TRC team should not hang their head, I should say, after losing the coach of the year last year as he moved on, getting a new coach, and basically every player on this team was new this year. A complete overhaul from last year as Mbike hits the three to make it a 12-point game. But, Jeremy Kaye, I thought, did an exceptional job this year coming in after being under Tyrell Vernon for a couple years, coming in and really making his head coaching debut in this OSBA league. And I think he has a bright future in this league going forward with this TRC team.
And they got some players that, if they stay with TRC, is going to, be able to lead the charge. For John Mbike, class of 2022, the Net Girls class of 2022 as well. Just some really good players on their team.
And Yeti Mubai, class of 2022 as well. That he has really shown himself through these first 2 games. Coming into this OSBA, we haven't really heard, coming into these OSBA playoffs, we didn't really hear too much about him. But these past 2 games, he can jump out of the gym with anyone. And we saw a couple times here today, he could shoot the 3 as well.
Yeah, he kind of felt like maybe one of those breakout performers here in this tournament with the way he's played these past 2 games. And what I think was most impressive by the way Yeti played was just the confidence. Just he didn't fear taking that shot late in the game, early in the game. And they like we said, they have a bright future ahead of them. And unfortunately, 3 years in a row, that's asking a lot in any league, in any sport to do. And with the overhaul at coaching and players, that's a tough task in front of them. But again, nothing to hang their head on.
Right.
An impressive season by TRC Academy.
12-point lead here by Orangeville, but we know how competitive Jeremy Kaye is. Called a bunch of TRC games this year. He's not giving up until that last whistle blows. DeVario guarded by Radikash now, and a foul. Darius gets it to go. 13-point lead now. 50 seconds remaining. Good on the second. Yeti now driving in strong. Back out to him. BK for 3. Short that time. No good. Filowich out to Moncrief. That would have really been a true dagger if he corralled that and slammed that down, but
you could hear from the fans a little bit. They were waiting for
they were disappointed.
For a big one.
You could hear the sigh. And Yeti now to bring it up. Radikash and the foul, but perhaps a little too late here, Joe.
Which one? Blue shirt, white hat. It's enough of this shit.
Stuka to DeVario. Coleman. DeVario. And there's a foul on the floor. 2 more free throws coming up.
And unfortunately for Yeti, looks like he kind of got shaken up on his leg. Hopefully he's okay.
Good on the first. With 14 seconds remaining, this potentially is the last possession of TRC's year this year. And Celebin can't hit. Radikash with the tip in. And they're going to dribble it out now. That's going to do it for TRC's season. Orangeville is going to head to the finals for the first time in a couple years. Trying to regain the throne as Moncrief with the throwdown to end off that game. And Orangeville back in the finals. And coming up next, Bill Crothers versus Central Tech will decide who will be in the OSBA finals this year. Stick around for game 2 of the men's semifinal action. Coming up next, Bill Crothers versus Central Tech. You're watching the OSBA Final 8 High School Championships.